In today's video, we're going to talk about the highly anticipated, even though I have literally praised him multiple times on my social media. So, welcome to the Warstu Show. If you are new around here, what the freaking hell are you doing? Make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, pop culture-based content that I try to cover on a daily basis. So, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter, WarstuG, and also check us out on the TikTok, WWarstu. Right, let's get into this video. So, the Superman movie has a lot of pressure on its back because DC Studios is owned by Warner Bros. Discovery that is in $45 billion worth of debt. And the CEO, David Zaslav, has put a lot of faith into it. There's a lot riding on this movie that is supposed to set up the new universe, although Creature Commandos did, Peacemaker did, the ending of Flash kind of rebooted everything in a roundabout way. So, Superman movie has to be critically acclaimed and has to financially make money because the Thunderbolts movie was critically acclaimed. The fans loved it, but it's going to lose money at the box office. It doesn't matter if the fans love it and the critics love it and it gets really good review scores. If a movie loses money, that is a financial loss. That means the project was not successful. So this report has re-emerged again. Superman director James Gunn responds to reports movie budget was a staggering to poor marketing. If this is true, this movie would have to do 700 to 800 to break even. Like I say, if this does big numbers, and I believe this movie could do big numbers because Superman is predominantly the greatest superhero ever, and the way they are marketing it now, they've brought a new marketing expert in, is at kids, which they should market that way. And also, if the reports are true that they're getting rid of a lot of fluff material in the movie, it also kind of proves Warstu was right 2 years ago when I said James Gunn isn't really in charge of his movie, which is a shame because if James Gunn wanted to release a Superman movie that he had in mind, but the creative's direction has been altered, just like Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich, so on and so forth, did to Zack Snyder, it looks like the heads of WBD Discovery are doing the exact same thing to James Gunn. So, Genocide, according to an application made with the Ohio Motion Picture Tax Credit Program, has a $363 million budget. It's stated to receive 11 million tax credits from the state. The application that 25% of the film will be shot in these places. More than 3,200 residents are projected to be hired. Now, just based on that number alone, that is freaking insane. And there are receipts. This is why a lot of companies come to the UK now, because you get up to 30% of the cost back. Now, James Gunn has debunked this, but James Gunn's word does not mean absolutely nothing, lads. He also said Ultraman wasn't going to be a villain in the movie. And I guess you could say Ultraman isn't going to be the big bad. Obviously, we know that's Lex Luthor. But to say that Ultraman wasn't going to be a villain, it's a little bit of a lie, isn't it? So I fully believe this could be the actual budget. A 306, this is true, but if it is true, that is absolutely incredibly insane. Now, this bit here is even more insane, right? Superman has had major changes following test screening, right? Which is good because a test screening essentially is to make the best movie possible, and if the audience doesn't gel with it or something doesn't hit. But it's the next bit. James Gunn's clashing with the HBO executives. So let me get this straight. James Gunn allegedly is co-head of DC Studios with Pete Safran. So he can basically do whatever he wants in terms of making movies, right? So, and TV shows. So why is he butting heads with HBO Max? Talking on the hot mic, Insider said, it sounds like DC Studios is playing it a little safe with Superman, revealing that he's heard the original movie had the action playing out over each day of the week in an episodic structure. Other reports have alluded to this, and it's not working, so scrapping that concept might be for the best. Still, Gunn deserves credit for attempting something different. Then again, when so much hinges on Superman playing it safe and delivering a fourth quadrant blockbuster that helps redeem the DC brand is undoubtedly best for business. Other updates. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Co-host John Rocho did speculate that the Batman star Colin Farrell could be a contender for Brainiac after the Sergeant Rock has basically been cancelled, delayed. Interesting seeing as Brainiac's supposed to be in the post-credit scene. Now, this bit here is suspicious because I've always said that Zaslav is in control and James Gunn is kind of just overseeing things until he gets involved. The more interesting thing that came out was this. HBO is blocking Gunn ideas for TV shows. The cable network is used to operating with a certain level of autonomy and seamlessly hasn't responded well to having the slate of DCU projects like Granton's Waller, Busagirl, for America like me, don't care for domestic numbers. 154 million to 175 million on its domestic opening, potentially the highest of 2025, potentially becoming the biggest Superman opening film ever. Now, I do find this interesting, right? Why do I find this interesting? Because ticket sales are not actually out yet. They're not actually out. And yeah, you are right. This would open at less than Lilo and Stitch. People seem to think this James Gunn movie is going to be movie of the year. I don't understand where you're getting your facts from because projections, Twitter views, YouTube trailer views doesn't really correlate to ticket sales. Remember all the hype and buzz the Flash movie had, and then the Flash movie came out and it did okay opening weekend and then fell off a wall. Now, I understand everyone wants a Superman movie to do well. So do I. But if that budget is close to being true, there is no way this movie is going to be as big as what people think. I really hope that budget's not true. I would say the budget will probably be closer to 250 because they have had to re-change things, re-edit things, take things out. But if they've been told to take out all these edgy jokes and the super shiz stuff, yeah, sorry, James Gunn, you ain't that guy. You ain't in charge. And no, I'm not hating. It's just weird to me that it's supposed to be an independent studio, but it sounds to me like David Zaslav and the Warner Bros. Discovery execs can be like, yeah, change it, lad. We don't like this. And HBO is giving them kickback, saying, no, we don't want your shows on our platform. That's even weirder to me. So like always, guys, let us know down below what you think. Is it going to do close to $200 million domestic opening weekend? Which, for me, I personally, I don't even think that's great, but it should be put on the merit of the best superhero movies ever, their opening weekend. So I think 200 domestic is kind of standard. A movie like this should open to 400 at least opening weekend, at least because of all that. It's groundbreaking. It's broken every YouTube record in terms of trailer views. Okay, cool story, bro. So if it doesn't break, the most recent opening weekend record, it should really do 500 opening weekend. It's not going to, but if the online, I guess you could say, hype train is true, then there's no reason why it can't do over 500 opening weekend. If it does 400, that would be insane, but who knows, lads? Who knows? So like always, guys, I'll catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch ya later.